Welcome to the GLAC studio. This is Gomathi, founder CEO, the guiding light art company building bright futures through art. Today in the second episode of the GLAC What Next Series, Change Management in Practice, we meet the founder and CEO of two companies, NINAYO.com and a tissue culture company, mauamazuri, based in Tanzania. This is Jack Langworthy, who is an American living in Tanzania apparently. That is developing a software and working closely with the farmers in Tanzania. Without much ado, let's jump into the program. Jack Langworthy, welcome to the GLAC What Next Series, Change Management in Practice. I am so happy to be meeting you like this. We both spent our time as students at the Copenhagen Business School MBA program, have spent time preparing for interviews, job interviews, and so on. So there's a history. And I totally enjoy working with you. So this is another opportunity, and I'm super happy to be interviewing you as the CEO of NINAYO. Before we kickstart, I would like to invite you to just go over yourself, about yourself, and what you have been doing, and especially about NINAYO as well.
Sounds great. My old friend Gomathi, it's such a pleasure to be with you again. I have so many fond memories of Copenhagen with you, and sort of the light and the art and the inspiration that you brought to our class, and to me in particular. It's just wonderful to be here. And I love watching what you've created with the GLAC. So any opportunity to be a part of it, I jump for joy to be a part of. So a little bit about myself. I am the CEO of two companies now. One called NINAYO. NINAYO is a software development company that builds products for the East African agricultural market, digital services. And I can go into the details of the products and the pivots that we've done as we carry on with our discussion. The other company is called mauamazuri. It's located here in Kilimanjaro, Tanzania, and it is a plant tissue culture laboratory. So it's also technology for the East African agricultural space. It's just not digital, but biotech. So I have built most of my career around looking at how technology can be brought into emerging markets.
That is amazing. So two companies. The first one, I think you launched a few years ago.
Yes, in 2015, while I was working at IKEA of Sweden, I started the company NINAYO, and it's definitely what I've most known for in my career. I'm really proud of what we've developed with it. I can tell that story a bit. After you and I graduated from our MBA, we spent a little bit of time stressing out like crazy about getting a job. And I think you and I both wanted to do big things with our lives, but at the same time, we take great pride in our work. I think you're doing something wonderful with your life if you work at Danfoss, and help with that production, or if you work at IKEA headquarters and help people afford furniture more. I want to be a part of winning companies and help them win. Like I think we both have artistic sensibilities, but I don't limit how that's expressed to just being, say, music or painting or things like that. So after our period of desperately searching for jobs in Scandinavia, I landed a great job at IKEA headquarters as a business analyst. Previous to this, though, I'd been working in Tanzania in the agricultural space, and I spent years out here as a volunteer and working with the maize sector. And I was still, I'd say I was still obsessed with how we could use technology to innovate this massively inefficient sector of agriculture. And so when I had my stable Scandinavian job at IKEA, and I'd been at it for about a year, I had some spare time, and I started building this website. It was an online trading platform. NINAYO means I've got it, and it refers to agriculture for the noun class. I partnered with some co-workers in Sweden. Okay, so we launched this website, and I work with an old friend of mine in Tanzania for him to show farmers that now they can list their harvests online. And this is solving a real problem for the farmers in that they struggle to get to market. 40% of food goes to waste in post-harvest handling, but now you can reach the greater, wider market on a simple online trading platform. And it started growing, and I felt so passionate about this opportunity that I took time off work and went to Tanzania and interviewed the users of NINAYO to see how it was impacting their lives. Then I went to Silicon Beach in Silicon Valley in California, and I pitched every VC that would listen to me about this pre-rev. I had a lot of doors, I wouldn't say closed in my face, but it wasn't what they were looking for. So I kind of returned to Scandinavia a bit of a failure. It seemed like, okay, we put this money into NINAYO, we built something, but we weren't going to be able to grow it. And then I got a call that the co-founder of Uber wanted to see me, so I had to borrow money from my dad, fly right back to San Francisco. And when I pitched him and Expo Labs, they were on board. They could see that East Africa represented a massive market and that there was this new telecommunications, and maybe we could build something like an Uber that would make it so much more efficient on that telecom network. So that's what we've been doing. That was sort of the TechCrunch newsworthy event of 2016. We even got Barack Obama to reference NINAYO in a speech, which was pretty exciting. I think it's my Twitter handle. Yeah. And then it hasn't been easy street since then, you know? Running a company is very difficult. Finding product market fit is a challenge.
Yeah.
We built this trading platform, but we were never able to monetize it in a way that made it scalable to venture capitalists. So I tried to fundraise on it, but the numbers just weren't. So what we did, though, is we pivoted, and I'm so proud of where we've taken the direction of the company. What it does now is we enable smallholder farmers to own their maize harvests digitally on their feature phone by a USSD system. It's very, very similar to M-Pesa, but what that means is NINAYO does the operational work of going and picking up the farmer's maize and storing it in proper storage materials. Excuse me, what is it called? They're called PIX bags. So we make sure that none of the maize is going to waste using these bags, storing it at the biggest maize trading center. But the difference is now the farmer still owns the maize, and they can sell it at any time and in whatever amount on their phone. So they're getting the full market value with our system. And we did that in 2020 and hope to be growing our user base in 2021.
Yes. I was curious to understand this whole thing. So you have eliminated the middlemen. Can I say that? in the
Yes.
from the farmer to the consumer. You have eliminated the middleman, haven't you?
Yes. Another way to put it would be that we've enabled the farmer to access everything the middleman would give to them. But yeah, we eliminated the middleman. The farmer still owns the maize further up the value.
Yeah.
So they get the higher prices. We do take a 4% commission. So in that sense, we are the middleman, but at a much, like, the farmer makes so much more money than they ever did before.
I'm curious. You said Tanzania. So what you have done is in and around Tanzania. Am I getting it right?
Yeah, all over the country.
Any other location in Africa or any other country that is doing something similar or so?
Yes. So there was a slew of companies doing what NINAYO was doing when it was the online trading platform. The Swahili word for market is soko. So there was eSoko, GSoko, MSoko, all these different companies trying to solve that problem with NINAYO. And I don't think any of us really did make the online trading platform for African agricultural model work entirely. I know there's still efforts going on, but we've pivoted into letting you own the maize digitally. And it's still early days. As far as I know, we're the only people who have piloted it, although the problems we're solving would be useful for smallholder farmers around the world, especially in Kenya, Malawi, Burundi, the neighboring countries.
Yeah, I'm curious to understand whether this business model can be adapted for other countries.
It certainly can. Places where mobile money is prevalent will be one factor for whether we can adapt it to the country.
Okay.
Consumed on a regular basis.
Okay. So mobile money really is one of the key criteria.
Yeah, we need a way to be able to digitally pay our farmers to send the money. And that's happening quicker and quicker. In fact, it looks like we're going to be partnering with a blockchain payment company called Cello, who I've known for a few years. I probably shouldn't announce it, but I love these guys. They seem to like us. So.
Not yet. It probably in the way.
Yeah, it's in the works. And if I do think it'll pan out with Cello, but if not, we are looking at the future of finance and how it can help smallholder farmers. There's so many products from decentralized finance, DeFi, that can help this unbanked population get access to financial services. Because essentially what our digital storage system enables, it's, yes, more food is reaching the market, but now the farmer has a piece of collateral, that maize, and they can leverage that to be banked with digital banking services. We have interest from for a warehouse receipt system out here and other ways to monetize it for the financial sector.
Awesome. Now, I want to go a little backwards in year 2015, 16, the early days of your idea. You already mentioned the challenge that when you approached the VCs, they were not thinking of it as a great idea. Yeah. Is there any learning from there that you want to share?
Absolutely. I might give two learnings.
Yes.
So one of those is that during that time, I was willing to try anything to succeed. It was my dream to really launch this product. Yeah. And I'd heard something from Scott Adams, who's a specialist in persuasion and hypnosis, that if you write something 15 times a day, it'll sort of trigger in your subconscious. And so I was writing 15 times a day, I will raise $1 million for NINAYO. I would just do that every day. And it was a pretty miraculous thing to achieve, but I wound up raising that money from Expo Labs and various UN sources from my little idea. I kept at it for a while. Now, I don't know how that stuff works, whether it's just triggering the subconscious, but I just happened to discover this Expo Labs application and hear about it by chance. I was just scrolling Twitter and oh my gosh, there it is. So I do believe that that plays a role in it, in the success. But then I'd like to talk also about pitching. When I did my first 99 pitches, it was like sort of desperate. I've flown all the way to LA and San Francisco from Europe and Africa. I only have 2 months to get this done. Won't you please invest? Sorry, I've got emails coming in and they ping. Apologies for that. I was desperate pitching people. By the time Uber pitched, I'd been told no so many times that I was pretty like laid back and just saying, it works like this, but you're probably not interested. And the guys called me back the next day and they said, we're in. And one of them, Roberto, said they were laughing though. They're like, why is this guy not selling hard to us? What's that about? And I think it's true with women, with VCs, with dating. Don't go too hard. You want to play it cool.
I think our viewers really get it, what you're saying.
Yeah.
So play
if
it cool.
You can control your desperation and play it cool, it will have big rewards.
Okay. Point noted. Yes. I want to address the elephant in the room. Now we have COVID. How is that impacting your decisions? Or it's of course, now is a little bit, it's been there for a while, but not too long. And you have also another company now. So how is that playing along or against? What are you doing to that?
Sure. Okay, there's a few elements to COVID. One of which is how we handle safety in our own lives. And the second is the impact of the lockdowns and the shutdowns.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm here in an impoverished country that cannot afford a day of lockdown. That is a very privileged activity for most of the world. And so, there's 3 billion people who can't afford a mask. They have to go to work and they have to take tight buses to get to work.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, Tanzania, knowing this, they've not done any lockdown. They haven't done anything, and we've been pretty fine, right? At first, there were people falling down in the streets and crying and screaming, but I think that was just the hysteria of what was going on in the news. My understanding is that now there are COVID cases, but it's just nowhere near as bad as the rest of the world. I do a lot of business now with Kenya, and when I travel up there, they're a more advanced country. They'll fine you $50 if you don't wear a mask. So you have dirt poor people wearing dirty masks because they don't want to be harassed by the police over this. And I think from a public health point of view, it's actually doing more damage to the Kenyan people to have these laws which seem in the interest of public health, but might end up backfiring. So, I mean, in terms of our own business with NINAYO, we had a contract with the World Food Program, and we got our funding cut last year in April because of Corona. And the team I was working directly with were awesome. They went up to the bat for us and they were able to secure a little bit more of the funding so the project didn't completely die off. But World Food Program had to tighten their belts big time on some high bureaucratic level. And that resulted in me having to let go of 70% of my staff, myself included, while my wife was pregnant. So it was really a very stressful period. And, you know, this, where I am now depends on tourism, Kilimanjaro, Serengeti, and that's down 85% in a year. So you see the desperation among already poor people returning to smallholder farming because they were starting to join the middle class. Here's a good job in the tourism sector. Billions of dollars just vanished, and people don't have a means to make money. So they return to smallholder farming. And I mean, I sometimes, there's a lot of orphanages around here, and the charity cases, they get cut as well. So you have orphanages that can't pay their staff. They have to cut down on what the children are getting for food. I mean, the impacts of the lockdowns hurt the poor first, you know? People like us who can work remotely, who have MBAs, it's great that I can like put a picture of me on Instagram in a mask and stuff like that and say, stay the heck inside, that kind of thing. But most of the world can't. So no. I don't know. It's been stressful to decide on how to deal with this properly. But thank God, I don't know if it's the sunshine or the age of the population or the PCR testing, we've been fine. I mean, I wouldn't have moved to Tanzania with its malaria and its dengue, which I got malaria last year and almost died. I turned blue. I had just incredibly high levels. If I were afraid of a virus, I probably wouldn't be here. But I feel like it's my mission in life. I'm really dedicated to what I do. And that's why I would raise a kid in a house that has mosquitoes, you know? Like it's so important to me. I'm not quitting over Corona. Anyways, that's a bit of a politically charged topic. I tend to take a contrarian view. I kind of think we need to let people be free to make their own decisions on whether they open up their shops. I want the economies to be booming again so that there's tourism, so that there is just joy in life and people achieving things. I don't really think we know how to stop a virus. But I have friends who strongly disagree with me on this and say I'm being
you know, I have an Indian background, and I do connect with my friends very frequently in India, and they all say the same thing, that we cannot afford a lockdown.
And so what do you think is to be done? How is India handling this? And I know there's lots of diseases in India besides Corona.
Yeah, and they are getting on with it like it's another disease. Deal with it. I don't know if I can say this for the entire India. It's a huge 1.3 billion. I cannot be a representative of 1.3 billion, but the areas that I am connected with, when I speak to them, this is what I get as a response. Yeah, and there is definitely trouble meeting people, going to different places and so on, but still they try their best to run the businesses, do something about the everyday.
So, I mean, I'm still taking meetings, giving hugs, doing jujitsu. I'm kind of the extreme. I had my 70-year-old parents here for 10 weeks. I took them to church. We had all sorts of events and parties. And we were just fine. That's my approach is life is full of risk, and you have to decide where you draw the lines. I am obviously a bit of a risk taker, I guess, compared to the average person. Everybody should do what makes them feel safe.
Yeah, totally agree. I think that was an amazing kickstart. So, yeah, we tackled questions relating to you and your business and so on. Now for some generic questions that people ask. If you were to just give your piece of advice on someone that is wanting to go about identifying a career path or doing something that is, just like you, passionate about.
Yeah. So the best piece of advice, I think, would be take care of yourself first before you can take care of something bigger, like a company. And what I mean by that is I did take care to get a good job at IKEA, perform that job well, And I would spend my evenings, there's 24 hours in a day, 16 of which you can be active. I did spend that time building something for myself. Mm-hmm. So I'm sort of a proponent of take care of yourself so that you have the extra energy and capacity to build what you're trying to build. And there are so many resources out there for you to get your side hustle going, whether it's 4-hour work week, Ben Horowitz's book, people on Twitter. There's a whole universe of people who want to help you build that side hustle. But you must take care of yourself before you can take care of other people. So that's my advice there. But also, don't stop. Work hard at it. You might get invited to a party and say, no, I'm not going to go to that party. I'm going to work on my passion project. You've got to sacrifice. It's 7 billion people on Earth. And if you want to create something special, you need to go further. Now, I think, fortunately, a lot of the world is pretty unambitious and pretty easily distracted by food, drugs, rock and roll, I don't know, dating. Like, if you can be disciplined, you've got a huge advantage. And it's not like I've always been a model of discipline, but at certain points in my life, I have really focused and worked hard, had multiple things going at the same time, because I love them,
Yeah. You know what? Year 2016 or 17, when I was still juggling with my idea, and I saw you already getting started with NINAYO, and I gave a call to you and I said, hey, how do you go about doing this? And you gave me, because I was just, I had too many ideas, but I was definitely not ready to, take the first step. And you said to me something that stuck to me even until today, and I think it will be there for a while or even more. You said, every week you must see some sort of progress with your idea. If you don't, then that's definitely not your passion. And I was thinking of it, oh my God, I don't do it like that. And from then on, I started giving up, time, the way you said, sacrificing time. Once in a week, I must have made maybe a painting. I must have connected with someone, discussed an idea, did something about it. So that was a winning point for me, to do something and make one move at a time in a week. And I still follow that principle that, am I moving? I have a notepad also with me. So every week I have a plan, doesn't matter everything sorts out or everything happens or no, but there is a plan. There is something I try to get to. And I'm so thankful that you gave that piece of advice, because those days I was still juggling with the idea, not so serious. Yeah. And
I'm happy something I've said was useful. That's excellent.
Yeah.
And I like the 1 week as a time period, because it's not too long, like a month, but there is some forgiveness as opposed to every single day. And yeah, it's kind of like having a KPI, right?
Yeah.
You've got to set up the rules for how you're going to be measuring the growth of yourself or your company.
Exactly. And it's fully understood when somebody has an idea and also has a full-time job, there is a responsibility.
Yeah.
And we should always be thankful for the companies that have given us this opportunity.
Yeah.
They did give that, financial backing, first of all, for us to dream. So
I agree.
I am ever so thankful for all the jobs that I did in my life, because those were definitely a very strong stepping stone for where I am today.
I'm just like you. Anybody who employs me, I feel this tremendous gratitude and accountability to. I may not always consider that job my end goal, but as long as I'm waiting tables at your restaurant, or, I mean, I've had so many sort of menial jobs in my life, and they are paying you to do them. You need to like be respectful and grateful, and
Yes.
you know, use it as the stepping stone it is. I think that's a great attitude.
Yeah. Okay. So, what are the key challenges do you think that one should be prepared for while starting into something new, a new venture, a new project, a new business? Key challenges.
Yeah. So, okay. The most important thing that you need to be able to do with your new venture is be able to pitch it really well. You need to be able to explain to somebody what is going on.
Yeah.
If I could a self-criticism right now, when you asked me to explain what NINAYO is doing, I totally fumbled it. I haven't been pitching NINAYO like I used to be. I've been just focusing on implementing it. But because it is such a hard sector, okay, East African agriculture and stuff, I don't feel like I have the elevator pitch where it used to be. But, you know, with GLAC, you need to be able to say quickly about girls around the world in a way that hits home for the person you're selling it to. So pitch practicing, it'll help clarify for you what you do, and it'll help the person who might help you along the way, either as an investor or part of your network. It'll help them understand what you do. Because just to go a little further on this, you need to become a good teacher about it. And a good teacher understands that the student is starting with less knowledge than they have. They're starting from scratch. Like, I know so much about East African agriculture. Most people do not, right? And I need to figure out how to bring them into this world with its potential and its immediate challenges, and know the statistics and so on. So I would say focus on that key challenge of selling what it is you're doing. Then you have to actually get it done. But start with one thing.
Yeah. Okay. If you were to address top 3 important things that one should be aware of before committing oneself to a career path or a business goal, it could be anything, before giving the commitment, top 3 things. Or,
sure.
Or also if you have.
No. So one thing that I am a big believer in, and this is very hard to explain, but it's your intuition and your gut feeling. You know, I remember when finally I got the job offers coming in Scandinavia, I got like 2 or 3 at once. It was like Deloitte, it was Novo Nordisk, it was IKEA. And I just had a gut feeling that IKEA was the one I wanted most of all. I did then sort of do a breakdown of like, okay, what would I be working with? How close to the executive leadership, and make sure that that aligns. I don't always do this, but a cost-benefit analysis, I wish I would do those more often, where you go through and you make a list of like, if I'm going to do this, what are the benefits, and what are my sacrificing? So on paper, it'll clarify things for you that maybe you're not considering and weighing enough. Finally, but the mission of the company is so important, I think, or the mission of your project, because does it align with what you want to achieve in your life? Is it getting you in that direction that you want to go to? Are you building new skills with it? Is it something you can be proud of and leverage to go further along your way? We all sort of know that you have this, that nothing is guaranteed in your life. It could end much quicker than you expected, and to make the most of it. So I hope that's a useful 1, 2, 3. Don't underestimate your gut.
Yeah, good. Now for a question relating to what you are doing. If somebody is interested in replicating your business model, for another country, another place, can he or she approach you? Or
Absolutely. So, you know, especially last year, Ninayo was hanging on by a thread, and I felt like I had learned so much and developed so much with the technology and the business model. Frankly, the tech and the business model have come so far, and we're hanging on by a thread. I was considering just like, who wants to run with this? I don't need any financial reward or anything. I just don't want this innovation to die if I'm not able to follow it through. So just on that practical level, I'm interested in helping people replicate it. And the other is that this is a big space.
yes,
I mean, Tanzania alone, you were asking me, could I do it in other countries, Kenya and stuff? It will take me 5-10 years to get done with Tanzania, I think. I mean, it depends on the rate of growth. Maybe there's so much more to do here. There's so many millions of farmers that we would need to build our operations with. I would love to hear that somebody is doing it in Kenya, India, Uganda. That to me, we're getting more food to market more efficiently, more quickly. There's enough pie for us all to eat.
Yeah.
To profit.
Yep. Yeah. I'm honestly thinking about my country, and you know that India also has a very similar problem where farmers end up not getting what exactly they deserve.
Yeah.
And yeah, farmer deaths is also something that goes on. So I have always wondered, is there a way out, and so on. So if somebody is interested, I think it would be great that they are reaching out to you.
I would be very forthright with how the model works, especially for India, because I don't see myself launching it there anytime soon. Though venture capitalists would hate to hear me say this, but it's the truth. They always like, oh, could this work in India? And I say, I think so. There's a lot of software development work that's done in India, and it's just knowing what to build with the USSD systems and tailoring it for India's telecom market, and then just doing more efficient logistics. That's what the model entails.
Awesome.
So, and I actually might go to India though for my tissue culture company as well. The laboratory here in Tanzania is doing really well. And India is actually sort of a market leader in this sector. And there's a expert who's been going back and forth to Tanzania. I'd like to see how he's running his company there. And I think tickets from Dar es Salaam to India are like $300 now. And I just think don't pass up this opportunity.
You have figured it out. So I'm so happy that you're going to India.
Yeah, I hope you will be the first person I ask for advice. I don't think I'm going to Chennai though. That's where you're from.
Then we'll find someone in the network to help you out. I think when this video goes on live, there will be many to help you already.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks.
Absolutely. And basically, to understand more on NINAYO or to do business, how do people reach the company, and also the other company you talked about? How does one reach? And yeah.
So the best way to reach us is probably with a direct email. I would do jack@ninayo.com or jack@maua.mazuri.co.tz. Kind of a mouthful.
Yes, I will write it down later and put it in the blog.
And then we are on Facebook. Those social medias are pretty active for now. I've got kind of an axe to grind though with Twitter and Facebook. In terms of companies, I don't think they have great missions, so to speak. So that's why I'm directing everybody to email. But we do host content on YouTube and on Facebook. So you can find us on there, or either it's Ninayo.com Ninayo on YouTube and Ninayo Africa on Twitter.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience before we take leave?
Well, I hope people will reach out to me. I really think that getting a more global movement going for helping to improve food security around the world is going to be more and more important, especially when we have this ongoing lockdown and coronavirus. We need to figure out the way to empower the smallholder farmer and make sure everybody gets fed. So especially if you're in emerging markets, I'd love to engage and see how we can build together.
Amazing.
Yeah, sure.
It's a pleasure, as usual, talking to you, Jack, and I'm so happy we did this episode together. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. A big Zoom hug.
Zoom hug.
Let's go get a coffee in Copenhagen and chat the day away.
Oh, the half.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Habari kaka Lucas.
Salama Diana, habari za siku?
Salama, hongera bwana kwa kununua miche bora ya tishikacha na kuweza kuitunza vizuri.
Asante sana Diana, najivunia mavuno yangu ya ndizi kwa sasa.
Zaidi baada ya miezi 30. Kwa 100% miche ya tishikacha haina magonjwa. Kwa hiyo tunamhakikishia mkulima kwamba ukichukua miche yetu utakuwa una uhakika kuwa na miche iliyo bora na safi.
There's a lot that I have learned from this session, as usual, from Jack Langworthy, and I'm sure you also found it very interesting. In case you have more questions on what he has been sharing with us, please do share your thoughts and questions in the comment section. We look forward to seeing your comments and answering them as well. And in case you are thinking of developing a similar business in your country and you want to get support and guidance from Jack, you already know that it's possible and you can reach out to him. Please do share your comments and like, share and subscribe. Do let us know how we can improve, and that's exactly how we are growing this community. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.